According to recent data, at least 177,088,290 people, or 54% of the population, have received at least one dose. Overall, 149,667,646 people, or 46% of the population, have been fully vaccinated. In Brooklyn, at least 43% of people have been fully vaccinated. Only 27% of Black people in New York City have been fully vaccinated. There is hesitation among the Black diaspora population about the efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccines.
Hello, I'm Bishop Eric D. Garnes. It is an honor to be in your presence. I want to talk to you about some information, questions that were asked of me, and I think you need to know them. Why did I decide to take the vaccine? I'm glad you asked and consider that question. I decided to take the vaccine because of the multiple travels that I do on a consistent basis, number one, not just domestically, but internationally. Number two, I also decided to take the vaccine. Why? Because I've taken many other vaccines before. And I also understood how important it was for me to research and recognize that we can all do better once a vaccine is in our system by literally eradicating COVID-19. The vaccine has been a plus. If you've seen, our numbers have declined. And taking the vaccine has not done any difference than when I did a vaccine for measles, when I did a vaccine for chickenpox. The vaccine helps to make sure that our bodies have all of the antibodies that is needed to fight it off. May you consider to do that. I also wanted to share something else with you, an advice. And this advice is that you need to consider to do your research. Check out the information. You might have an underlying condition that you're aware of, and then you might have an underlying condition you're not aware of. Check with your doctors. Many of the physicians have already taken their vaccines. Nurses, health professionals have already taken the vaccine, and they help people stay alive in hospitals. For those of you who don't have a medical degree, or you're questioning, you're concerned, may I just say to you, medicine has advanced. Let's get on the road. Let's be a strong New York. Let's be a strong United States. Let's be a strong country again and eradicate this thing called COVID-19 by taking the vaccine. The last item I want to recognize for you is that there's hope for tomorrow. There's a great hope. The hope is that we will be back on dealing and talking and communicating and hugging and fellowshipping and not having to worry about COVID-19. We saw deaths in 2020. We saw them decline in 2021. That is already telling you hope is here. People are already starting to move again. I remember when the city shut down, and now traffic is here again. Horns are honking again. People are crossing the street, jaywalking again. What does that tell me? It says the city is starting to move, not just for the economy, but for life. There is hope, and you need to consider being a part of the hope. Don't stand still. Go get vaccinated and become New York strong and make a difference for our world. Vaccination is important.
I haven't gotten the vaccine because I don't get vaccinated. I've been pretty healthy my whole life. Thank God I haven't gotten sick. So I just haven't gotten it. No real reason. And I also work from home, so I stay inside most of the time. I'm not somebody that goes out much. I believe it's a family conversation. Before you do something, speak to the ones that it may affect closest to you and how they feel about it. But it's also a personal decision. So it's also what you feel is best for yourself.
The vaccine saves lives, and at my age, I think it's very good for everyone to take the vaccine, even as is necessary. Like kids from 12 years now can take it, so they should go ahead and take it. Well, I think the future is bright, but not unless everyone is vaccinated.
I decided to take the vaccine because I wanted to keep my family safe. I did my own research on what the vaccine was and how the mRNA worked and how it affected people's systems. And I thought the best thing I could possibly do is keep myself protected and make sure that my family's protected. So I didn't want to be a catalyst. I didn't want to be a vector. I wanted to make sure that I was an advocate for the community and someone who took the step forward to ensure that I was safe and that everybody around me would be safe. You should not feel pressure to take the vaccine, but do the research. There's a lot of things out there that I read about, the mRNA virus, what we're doing now, how people have been able to have better outcomes. So just to make sure that they're staying safe. If they don't want to take the vaccine, they can also choose to get tested consistently, to know be understanding of what they're going through, as well as know how they're feeling. I think the future is very open. I think that we're doing a lot of the great things now on the ground and making sure that we're staying educated and doing the research. But I think we have to work as a team. All of us have to work together, because we're not going to beat this as single people or as individuals. The only way you can beat this as a population all together.
Well, I decided to take the vaccine because my mother she has medical issues, and I wanted to make her feel safe. And also my father is up in age, he's 86, and I also have to do a lot with him, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't contributing to any of their health issues. I think at this point in time, enough people, for me at least, have taken it so that you don't really need to be as concerned about the effects of it. I also think that taking it it's precautionary. It helps, you can be able to go around your family, like my parents, and it's a personal choice, absolutely, but I think that at this point, we need to do what we need to do. You have to make your decision one way or the other. I felt comfortable taking it, and so I did. I'm hoping going forward that things will open up more, that more people will take the vaccine so that we can come out in the community and be together once again like we were before. Of course, there are going to be those people who won't take it, but I'm thinking that going forward, we still have to be cautious. So because we don't know who's been vaccinated and who's not been vaccinated, and we're not trying to pressure people, that we still need to wear our mask in closed places and things like that. So I think we're going to be in a more cautious environment. But some of it is good, because you should have been washing your hands anyway, okay?
I needed to see my friend again. I needed to see other people out of the world again. I needed to just be normal when I go to the supermarket or places to go. So get your vaccination shot. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be a problem, because I feel normal. I feel healthier. You're living in a country that, provide you with everything. You should be grateful that we're here in this country and dealing with it.
I saw a pandemic and I wanted to be inoculated. I wanted to be part of the solution and not the problem. And I understood that it was experimental or speedily made because of the crisis at hand. A lot of people feel that they have the right to choose, but my decision to take it is that I wanted to stay healthy. And so that's what I would encourage them, that it would help keep them healthy.
I was resistant at first based on the history. Particularly the history and black people being medicated by something that the federal government's in charge of, because it's not just Tuskegee, there have been other things. So I took pause for that, and then I had to stop and realize my age, and that, hey, you know what, also my business, because eventually things are going to open up again, and then also my family. How can I protect them? And the vaccine is part of that protection. For those who have any reason to stop and don't want to take it, I would tell them, okay, while you stop and think about your family, the people that you love, because it's not just about you. One of the reasons you're taking it is to protect those around you, those that you love.
Well, first of all, I have a family, my daughter, my son, my wife, and most of all, me. The problem is, because you take the vaccine, don't mean it's all right. You got to take care of your body. You can't depend on the vaccine to take care of yourself. You got to alkaline your body, exercise, walk a lot. But if you're going to depend on the vaccine to save your life, it's not going to work. The future depends on how many people get the vaccine. I can take it and 5 people don't take it and I'm in the crowd, I have an 80% chance of getting it. I'll never get COVID. I can promise you that. I was taking care of myself before the vaccine came. So I'm good.
Everybody I know was getting the vaccine. So I went to Walgreens and they gave me the first dose was fine. The second dose, I had headaches all night long. But after that, I was fine. And I thank God for the vaccine. If someone didn't want to take the vaccine, I would tell them to take it. It saved lives.
Initially, I was very reluctant to take the vaccine. And that had more to do with just skepticism and just my own personal issues. But the more informed that I became, and then honestly, the more people that I observed getting vaccinated, and then seeing, how being vaccinated was really one of the major forces that led to recovery, or that's leading to the recovery, not only of the city but of the nation. That was that was the I think the deciding factor for me. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a matter of conscience. That people ultimately have to decide within themselves whether or not they should get the vaccine, and then they need to be comfortable with that decision. However, for me, I think that, as a believer and a person who follows Jesus, it's about being other focused. In other words, thinking about how what I do affects other people. And, for me, the vaccine not only puts a layer of protection on me, but it also puts a layer of protection on others. And so, I would just encourage people who may be reluctant or reticent, to just be mindful of the fact that we don't live in the world by ourselves, and that our actions and even our inactions, they have consequences and potentially can affect other people. I'm excited about the future because we're reopening, things are recovering, and I think that for me, I think it's important to learn the lessons of COVID. What did we learn during this period here? And one of the lessons is not necessarily going back to the way things were. I don't think that we should really focus on trying to reclaim the past, but potentially reimagining our present and our future, and then living into that, actually being intentional about pressing into that.
The vaccine was created quickly for some very understandable reasons. So first, we have the fact that the mRNA technology that's being used for the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, these technologies actually have been being studied for over 10 years. And the reason for that is because COVID-19 happens to be one of several coronaviruses, because there's a family of coronaviruses. And you have MERS and SARS that are also part of that family. And these are diseases that were happening back in the early 2000s. So even since then, they've started working on vaccines for coronaviruses. So the mRNA technology is not something new. It's been something that's been studied for over 10 years. And even myself, I was hesitant when I first heard that the vaccine was coming out so quickly. But once I was told this, it completely made sense and I felt a lot more comfortable. The other reason for the vaccine coming out so quickly was simply because of funding. The fact that this pandemic was such an emergency, we were losing so many people across the entire globe. So now we have people from all over the world pouring money into this project. So once you have funding to that extent, when you have so much money involved, things definitely can happen quicker than usual. So those are probably the two main reasons why this vaccine came out so quickly. And it happens to be working very well. Yes, you should wear a mask after being vaccinated, but only in certain situations. For the most part, someone who's vaccinated does not have to wear a mask whether they are indoors or outdoors, which is great news. However, there are some exceptions to that. As a vaccinated person, you will have to wear a mask if you are taking public transportation, such as taking the bus, the train, or even the plane. And then also, you will have to be wearing your mask if you are in a medical facility, if you're at a clinic, or if you're at a hospital. Yes, you can definitely hang out with them. However, you do want to make sure that your friends and family that are not vaccinated are following the rules. So according to the CDC, if you have not been vaccinated, it is important that you wear your mask if you're indoors or if you're in a large crowd. So if you as a vaccinated person are hanging out with multiple people, especially indoors, with family and friends who are not vaccinated, those unvaccinated people should be wearing a mask. So do make sure that if you're not vaccinated, that you are following the rules. And the main reason why the unvaccinated people still need to wear their mask in those situations is that if in case they happen to have COVID-19, we want to make sure that they're not spreading it to other unvaccinated people. And also, even if you're vaccinated, there's a very high chance that you will not get COVID. However, you still have to be careful if you're vaccinated, and especially if you have an immune system that's not strong, you still want to make sure that you are around people that are protecting themselves so that you don't catch the virus. But at the end of the day, if you are vaccinated, the chances of you getting the coronavirus is very, very low. The answer is no. The problem is that natural remedies, we don't really know how well it works, how well they work against coronavirus. Now, natural remedies are wonderful. I am from a Haitian background. I grew up with natural remedies as well. They definitely boost your immune system. However, we don't know how well it works against COVID. So we have to rely on the vaccines. The future for New York City and the surrounding areas is looking really bright, really positive. We're definitely at a point where, because of vaccinations, the number of people that have COVID, that are sick from COVID, have basically decreased and become very low, which is really, really great news. So the vaccines are absolutely working. That's the bottom line. The vaccines are working, and we're happy that they're working, and we're starting to get back to normal life. For those that are hesitant with the vaccine, I want you to understand that the vaccine is actually doing good. The vaccine is not killing people. It's not giving people COVID. It's actually saving lives. So please be careful with the things that you're reading on WhatsApp and other areas where you don't know where the information is coming from. Please try to get your information from professionals, doctors, people from the CDC. So at this point, one thing that's very important in terms of how the future is looking for Brooklyn, we have to be careful because of the hesitancy. There are areas in Brooklyn that have a lot of people that are still not vaccinated. For example, per the Department of Health in New York City, they had told me that only 35% of the people in East Flatbush are vaccinated. So this is very concerning to me, simply because we still have the variants out there. The variants from India and from Brazil, they are actually here in the United States, and we're in an international city. So we have to be really careful. I'm very concerned about all those people that are not vaccinated here in East Flatbush. We really have to make an effort to get the word out there to help the community understand that the vaccines are what's going to save us. It's going to prevent us from having another wave. Because if it's only 35% of us that are vaccinated in East Flatbush, we could possibly see another wave here, and we may see deaths again. So we really want to avoid because we're really at a point where the vaccines are helping and they're saving lives. So I'm hoping that people do reconsider. Once again, I do know that people of color, especially in this country, are hesitant with the vaccine simply because we've been wronged by our medical system, and I know this, and I've been a victim of it myself. But we have to realize that the situation is a little bit different. Many people have been vaccinated. People get side effects, but people are not dying from the vaccine. The vaccine is actually saving lives. So I'm hoping in our community, especially, that the fact that it's only 35% of us, we're really putting ourselves at risk that another wave might come and a lot of us may get it again and people could die again. So let's prevent that and let's just get vaccinated. My name is Dr. Moise, Dr. Tamara Moise. I'm here at Big Apple Urgent Care in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. It's been such a pleasure to bring this information to the community. So please check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and check out our website at www.bigappleurgentcare.com. Thank you so much again, and stay safe, everybody.